Hey, how's it going? My name is Ron Piro. So I'm just an average guy, the colloquial term used to describe me would be gringo, who decided to teach myself to speak Spanish way back in 2014. Now, when I first started, honestly, I kind of fell into some of the traps that are commonly found on places like YouTube, which claim things like you could easily become fluent in a new language in just a few short weeks with minimal study and effort. But it turns out that you can start to speak a little bit of Spanish after a few weeks, but to become fluent in Spanish, that's really a different story. So, as I said, I started this journey back in 2014. I put in my study time, just about every day. I used some tools like Duolingo, Rosetta Stone, bunch of books, tapes, CDs, and things like that I found at the local library. But eventually, I started to realize that my methods were just really not that effective. I mean, I did learn a bunch of words and phrases, but I still just couldn't really understand much of anything that was being spoken to me in Spanish. So finally, in 2019, after 5 years, I decided it was really time for me to make a change. So at that point, I kind of looked around and I discovered a series of classes. They were called El Metodo. These classes cover the basic grammar rules and verb conjugations and various verb tenses, and the classes can be found on learning platforms like Udemy and Skillshare. Now, they're not free, but the price is pretty nominal, and the classes are created by a guy named Peter Hanley and his daughter Jessica. Jessica's actually a native Spanish speaker. She grew up and lives in Spain. The classes actually really helped me to understand the basic structure of the language, but I still needed to find a way to kind of reinforce what I was learning. They would be right there on the tip of my tongue when I was trying to have a conversation or just trying to speak to someone in Spanish. So in order to solidify my newfound knowledge, I turned to a spaced repetition system called Anki. Anki is a free system that allows you to review flashcards, and it helps you to focus on what you're struggling with by showing you the cards that you're getting wrong every day, but it increases the amount of time before showing you some of the cards that you do know pretty well. And it'll work on a desktop as well as on a mobile app. And the whole thing actually synchronizes automatically, so it's always kind of staying up to date that way. And you can create your own decks of flashcards, or you could simply import one of the decks, because there's hundreds of decks available that other people have already created. Even after I had completed the classes and driven them home pretty solidly with flashcards, I realized that I really still needed feedback from a real live human teacher. Someone who could not only correct my pronunciation, but also could maybe share stories with me about their culture and make me kind of laugh with their language, related jokes. And so for this, I turned to a platform called Italki. I think of Italki as kind of like a dating site, but instead of searching for a date or like a romantic partner, you're looking for a language teacher. The platform contains profiles from hundreds of language teachers from basically all over the world. And each teacher posts a 4 or 5 minute video that introduces themselves. So using Italki, you can browse through the profiles and you can find a teacher who matches your style. Then you can schedule a class time with them right there on that Italki platform. So there you have it, my friends. This is actually how an average gringo just like me was able to actually become fluent in Spanish. I hope you found the video to be a little bit useful and hopefully a little bit interesting. And after that, I want to say, vamos a aprender español y a reír en el camino. Let's learn Spanish and laugh along the way. Thanks so much.